Hey everybody, Don Georgievich here. Welcome to 7 Days to Mastering the Art of the Interview, Module 7. Today we're going to talk about following up after the interview. Let's get started. In this video, we're going to cover the following techniques. We're going to talk about email, follow-up letters, phone calls, how to start a follow-up conversation, how to keep that conversation going, and what you should do with your references. Okay, keep this in mind. Never walk away from an interview telling yourself that the whole job is now out of your hands. That's how unsuccessful job hunters think. What takes place after the first interview when ranking the candidates takes place? This is what decides who is going to have the inside track on winning the job. Your follow-up may actually be the tiebreaker, with the job going to you over some other promising candidates. And even if the employer already planned to offer you the job, your follow-up creates a sense of goodwill that can really soak in your chances for success when you join that company. I encourage you to follow up vigorously. It's your caring that counts. And you have some tools to follow up. You have email, you have letters, you have telephone calls, you have references, and you have email follow-up. Kind of the same as email, but so what's the benefit of email versus follow-up to job interviews? Well, I'll tell you this. HR managers, they are strongly in favor of email. I know this because I've talked to them. It saves them time. They don't have to call you back. They don't have to look up files and so forth. All they have to do is hit reply. Even though email is great, it's cheap, it's fast, it's easy, not everyone agrees that the telephone follow-up calls are dead. However, at times the telephone follow-up is actually much stronger than a email thank you letter, especially with employers whom you suspect are traditionalists. They like phones, they like fax machines, they like doing things the old way. Now, I like phone calls. Me personally, I love them. Email is cheap, anyone can do it, but if you really want to separate yourself from the competition, pick up the phone and call them. All the time people email me and they say, well, Don, it's been 2 weeks. I haven't heard back. I've emailed them. They don't email me back. And my response is always pick up the phone and call them. But email, it does have its charms. A lot of companies do use it. They will respond to you. They would actually prefer it over a phone call. It's up to you to balance that out. Use email when you hope to start or continue a dialogue with an interviewer. Email is more conversational and easier for a quick reply. But on the other hand, it's also easier to say no in an email than on the telephone. Use email when a quick action matters. The job could be filled while you're waiting for postal mail to be delivered. So shooting that thank you letter off in an email, it can be there in seconds, and it really can make the difference. Use email if that's the way you sent your resume to this company in the first place, especially if the employer requested electronic communication in the job ad. So you're just continuing with what they set in the first place. Use email when you are dealing with a high-tech firm. The firm's hiring authority probably doesn't even remember what paper is, and they don't even know what voice. Always use email when you're dealing with high-tech firms. The firm's hiring authorities, they probably don't even remember what paper is, and voicemail is just a bother to them. Construct your email messages differently than you do letters. Keep your email follow-up short, and don't send it as an attachment. And you can see how I do this in perfect thank you letters if you need more examples. As for the length of your thank you or follow-up letter, don't babble on. Only say what needs to be said. And generally, you want to have a quick little intro, a body, and then you want to close and you want to wrap it up. And that's where you say, I hope to hear from you soon. So ideally, just 3 very short paragraphs is all you need for a perfect email thank you letter. And don't forget to put your contact information in this, because even though the interviewer, can push the reply button and get back to you with ease, you want to make sure that your phone number's there, because they just might want to pick up the phone and give you a call. And one more point here, use a good subject line. Put some kind of sales pizzazz in it where you say, thank you for reviewing my qualifications, for the blank position, something like that. But reference the name of the position, and this will help jog their memory. When do you send your letters? You can write your thank you letter for the interview within 24 hours, and this is going to strengthen the good impression that you've already made. And you can even send it within a couple hours of your interview. If you don't hear back from them within a specified amount of time, and they've just kind of left you dangling in the wind, waiting for a hiring decision, then you should consider picking up the phone and calling them. Which brings me to, when should you call them on the phone? If you call the interviewer too often, you're going to waste their primetime work hours. You're going to annoy them, and you're probably going to jeopardize your opportunity for the job. So you want to space out your follow-up calls, maybe once every 3 weeks. If you call your interviewer too often, you're going to end up wasting their primetime work hours. You're going to annoy them, and you're probably going to jeopardize your opportunity for the job. They're just going to see you as a pest. So space out your follow-up calls. Maybe once every 3 weeks is probably plenty, unless they told you differently. If they said they are making a hiring decision in 2 weeks, then you better call them after 1 week to see where they're at. If they say they're 4 weeks out, then call them after 2 or 3 weeks. A long time ago, when job seekers wanted to call up the hiring manager, all they really had to worry about was getting past the gatekeeper or that manager's assistant. And now we have voicemail in there, which is just another roadblock. And that just kind of keeps us job seekers from trying to set up interviews or follow-up interviews. So when you pick up the phone and you call your interviewer, and so the big question here is, when you pick up the phone to call your interviewer, the big question is, what do you do when you get their voicemail? And it's really not an if, it's a when you get it, because you're probably going to get it. And the question that's on your mind is, should I leave a message on voicemail or not? And there's a lot of opinions on this, but as a practical matter, you may have to leave a message if you don't connect after the first few calls. But keep in mind that caller ID is now your enemy. And if they see, you've called 17 times and they're all hang-ups from your number, well, that really doesn't look good for you either. But ideally, you should have some type of voicemail script all planned out before you call, just in case you get their voicemail. And you can be ready with some kind of scripted message just like this. And like 30 seconds is all you need. You could say something like, hey, this is Don. I'm calling about the IT management position. Just wanted to follow up with you on the status and see when you plan to make a decision. And that's good enough. And if you wanted to add something else in there, you could throw this in. You could say, after reflecting on some of the issues that you mentioned during our meeting, I have a great idea on how to solve, that blank problem that you mentioned. And I'd enjoy sharing my ideas with you. My number is blank. And that's it. That's a perfect a scripted message that sounds natural. It's got a lot of flow. It creates a little bit of intrigue. The interviewer's probably thinking, hey, what problem or what kind of solution does he have to our problem? Okay, let's look at a few conversation starters. This is after you pick up the phone, you call them, and they answer, and they're ready to start talking. You say something like, hey, this is Don Georgievich. I just wanted to follow up with you on the IT management position. So here's a few different things you can say. You could start off by saying, hey, is this a good time to talk? And then, you can talk about the position a little bit. And then if you're at a loss for how to keep that conversation going, here's a couple other things you can say. Something like, hey, I think you'd be interested to know. And then mention something that connects back to the first interview. Or you could say something like, I forgot to give you more information on blank, and then elaborate, what that was. You could also say something like, while listening to you in the last interview, I neglected to mention my experience in blank, and then elaborate on that. Now, these are just some ideas. You don't have to use them. It's just a way to eliminate any kind of dead space in the interview Because after you find out, what they're doing, what their plans are, you might want to keep talking to them. So these are a few things you can use to re-energize that conversation and keep it going a little bit longer. Because the longer you keep that conversation going, I think the better chances you have of landing the job. And the whole point is to keep your conversation topic relevant to the job and not make up a bunch of BS to talk about. Now, if none of those starters above will work for you, then come up with something that will. Don't take my advice that might not work and try to force it to work for you, because you see, every situation is different. I can't be there with you on the phone. I can't tell you exactly what to say, but I can tell you that you should anticipate how your conversation is going to go and have some notes in front of you of things you can say or do or questions you can ask to keep that conversation going. Okay, here's a few more ideas to keeping the conversation moving. You can try these. They may or may not work for you. But remind the interviewer why you're so special. What makes you so unique? Do you have exceptional work in a specific area? Talk about it. Talk about what you bring to the table that makes you different. Establish a common denominator of a work or business philosophy. Something like, hey, it seems like we both approach work in the name of, blank industry from the same angle. Some kind of common ground there is a good thing to interject into the conversation. Note some kind of shared interest that benefits the employer. You could say something like, hey, I found this new website that may interest you. It's xyz.com. It reports on news items that we discussed in the interview. Would you like that URL? But again, the whole point here is to keep it relevant. Don't make up stuff. Otherwise, you're just going to appear less genuine. These are just ideas to get you thinking. You don't have to use any of them or all of them. Or if you find one that just helps you, then this lesson is going to be a success for you. Okay, let's move on to references. References can make all the difference. And everyone seems to really make this harder than it is. What you want to do is select your references very carefully. These should be people that you've worked with, even customers, but not family or friends. They don't have to be from your most recent job. They can be from several years ago, but you need to keep in contact with your references to let them know that you're still interviewing for jobs, and if it's okay to still list them as a reference because a prospective employer might call them. These people can be managers or coworkers, or most commonly managers and coworkers. Don't put anyone down on your reference sheet who you don't trust 100%. Now, I've only ever had 4 references my entire career, and I use these same people all the time. They were customers and managers and people that I've worked with throughout my career. And when employers would call them, my references did such an excellent job of selling me that the job was in the bag every time. It was just a guaranteed slam dunk. Okay, that's it for 7 days to mastering the art of the interview. I hope you learned a lot. But I'll tell you this, if you practice and follow everything that I've taught you in the past 7 days over the course of a month, I can guarantee you that you're going to impress your interviewers and start getting more job offers. Now, if you're still struggling with what to say to interviewers when they ask you all of those questions, I highly recommend the Complete Interview Answer Guide. It's an awesome resource. It's going to teach you how to answer behavioral questions, common questions, identity questions. It's going to help you with any kind of question that you'll ever be faced with in any job interview situation. From all the comments that I've been reading, and since this 7 days to mastering the art went so well, I'm working on a new follow-up series. It's more of an advanced interview training program, and I'll let you know through email as soon as it's ready. I mean, heck, it might even be ready right now. Just look on the right-hand side of this page for something called Advanced Interview Training Concepts or something like that. If you're not watching this video at jobinterviewtools.com, you're probably not subscribed to receive the full program. So head on over to jobinterviewtools.com/7days and register so you can be sure that you're getting the full program in your email. Plus, you'll even get more resources that I only share in email. It's all free, so you have nothing to worry about. And of course, I would love to hear your comments about this program. What did you think of 7 Days to Mastering the Art of the Interview? Did it help you in your job search or your interviews? What worked and what didn't? I would love to hear your story. Hey, that's all I have for you today. I'll see you in my Advanced Interview Concepts video training program next. I'm Don Georgievich. Stay on your game. I'm here to help you succeed so you can enjoy a prosperous career and lead a lifestyle that you love. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Hey, Don, this is Charlene Coulomb Fiore, and I just want to thank you for your wonderful book. I've been through several of them. Some actually have hurt me in getting a job, which is quite funny, but I just wanted to tell you that your book was awesome. I've shared it with other people as well, but I was in a complex kind of a situation. Complex in the meaning that I was in a very highly competitive environment, and all your questions and your continued support throughout the process to me was awesome. It was a long process, but I ended up with an awesome job, and I couldn't have gotten there without you. So again, I think you're the best. I think you're the best that money can offer, and I just want to thank you for all your private emails as well as your continued support throughout the whole process. You are awesome. I hope you use some of the things that I provided as well. I think that you touched on so many wonderful areas of the interview process. And one of my last interviews, the woman asked me if I felt lucky, and I said, you betcha. And the next day I got offered the job. So thanks to you, thanks to your book, thanks to your continued support. You're the best. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week, month, and continue sharing your thoughts to those of us who needed your help. Thanks again. Bye.